Who doesn't like some James Brown? Hey, I feel good. That is a classic, and I feel good. I hope you feel good too. So, it is our favorite time of the day, time for the good news. So much going on in the world, like we were just talking about, these changes that are coming. We can thank the regular people like you and I for that. It's regular people that are stepping up to the plate and that are using their creativity, following their inspired thoughts, doing all that other good stuff, coming up with solutions to these life-changing problems that we have. At the end of the day, it's not about you and me. It's about our children. It's about our grandchildren. Are we going to leave this place a mess for them? Right? It is what it is. We can't get all wrapped up in how it came to be the mess. Although, we need to if that's going to make it a repetitive process. But we need to focus on some solutions. There's lots of solutions around. We just have to figure out what they are, right? So, let's do this. Awesome. Oh, Saudi Arabia, are they not going in leaps and bounds or what? They certainly are. They've been making so many changes. It's very exciting. So, Saudi Arabia on Monday lifted a decades-long ban on cinemas, part of a series of social reforms by the powerful crown prince that are shaking up the ultra-conservative kingdom. The government said it would begin licensing cinemas immediately, and the first movie theaters are expected to open next March, in a decision that could boost the kingdom's film industry. That is so awesome. Reviving cinemas could represent a paradigm shift in the kingdom, which is promoting entertainment as part of a sweeping reform plan for a post-oil era, despite opposition from conservatives who have long vilified movie theaters as vulgar and sinful. Commercial cinemas will be allowed to operate in the kingdom as early as 2018 for the first time in more than 35 years. Wow, can you believe that? The Culture and Information Ministry said in a statement, "This marks a watershed moment in the development of the cultural economy in the kingdom." The statement quoted Information Minister Awad Alawad as saying, "Like most public spaces in the kingdom, cinema halls were expected to be segregated by gender or have a separate section for families. Hardliners, who see cinemas as a threat to cultural and religious identity, were instrumental in shutting them down in the 1980s. Saudi Arabia's highest-ranking cleric warned in January of the depravity of cinemas, saying they would corrupt morals. Oh dear. But authorities appear to be shrugging off the threat, with some comparing Saudi Arabia's reform drive to a fast-moving bus. Either people get on board or risk being left behind." Wow, isn't that something? Saudi Arabia in recent months has organized music concerts, a Comic-Con pop culture festival. Can you imagine how that was received? And a mixed-gender national day of celebration that saw people dancing in the streets to thumping electronic music for the first time. I bet there's some culture shock going on, right? Saudis themselves appear quietly astounded by the torrid pace of change, including the historic decision allowing women to drive starting next June. The social transformation chimes with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's recent pledge to return Saudi Arabia to an open, moderate Islam and destroy extremist ideologies. Saudi filmmakers have long argued that a ban on cinemas does not make sense in the age of YouTube. Saudi films have been making waves abroad, using the internet to circumvent distribution channels and sometimes the stern gaze of state censors. It is a beautiful day in Saudi Arabia, says cinemas, to get licenses in early 2018. Saudi female director Hafa Mansour wrote on Twitter, her film Wajida made history in 2013 after it became Saudi Arabia's first Academy Award entry. Wow, that's fabulous. The film depicts the dream of a 10-year-old girl to get a bicycle just like the boys in her conservative neighborhood. This year, the country is again vying for an Oscar with the film Baraka Meets Baraka, the kingdom's first romantic comedy, which premiered in the Berlin International Film Festival. Now our young men and women will show the world possibilities and stories worth seeing. Wow. Isn't that something? You know, it's just really hard, isn't it, to wrap your head around this, because we are so spoiled in our first world country that it's really tough. We, like, really, to ride a bike like a boy? Wow. We are just so, you know, we just have it pretty good. You know, we think we have things going on and we just have no idea sometimes. So, let's get into the drugs, shall we? There's always good things going on where they're going in leaps and bounds, helping, you know, do all sorts of stuff in the medical world. So that is absolutely awesome. So a groundbreaking new drug is offering hope for Huntington's disease, an inherited neurodegenerative disease that currently has no cure. While the average person's DNA produces healthy Huntington proteins that nourish brain development, Huntington's disease is caused by a faulty gene that makes toxic proteins instead. These deadly proteins then poison the nervous system and cause loss of motor, control, memory, and speech. While there are therapies that exist to help Huntington's patients cope with the degenerative symptoms, patients typically die about 10 years after diagnosis. In a new study released by the University College of London, 46 patients with Huntington's disease were enrolled in the first humans trial for an experimental drug called Ionis HTTRX. The drug, which was administered through the patient's spinal fluid, was not only shown to be safe and well tolerated, but it also successfully lowered the level of harmful Huntington protein in the brain's nervous system. Professor Tabritzi, director of the UCL Huntington's Disease Center, said, "The results in this trial are of groundbreaking importance for Huntington's disease patients and families. For the first time, a drug has lowered the level of the toxic disease-causing protein in the nervous system, and the drug was safe and well tolerated. The key now is to move quickly to a larger trial to test whether the drug slows disease progression," she added. Moving forward, the research team will conduct further testing on how drastically the drug can alter the progression of the disease. While they are not yet calling this drug a cure, they say that it is the most groundbreaking development in the disease's treatment in over 50 years. Patients who have already received the drug will be able to continue taking it as a treatment for their disease in the coming years. Well, that is absolutely awesome that we're moving forward and we're making some changes there. And then our last story today is a story that's based out of the States. Pretty cool. Lots of cool stuff going on over there. As much as we have drama and lots of distractions, there is a lot of good things going on over there right now. Lots of people getting their jobs back and all sorts of different positive things that are happening. So this is wonderful. Toyota Motor North America plans to build a power plant in California that captures methane gas from dairy cattle waste to generate water, electricity, and hydrogen. Do you need to wrap your head around that for a second? Hey, the company announced the project at the Los Angeles Auto Show. The Tri-Gen project of the Port of Long Beach, California, will be the world's first commercial-scale 100% renewable power and hydrogen generation plant. Toyota is betting heavily on fuel cell technology, especially in Japan. When it comes online around 2020, Tri-Gen will produce enough to meet the daily driving needs of nearly 1,500 vehicles, about 2.35 megawatts of electricity, and 1.2 tons of hydrogen per day, according to Toyota. In addition, the hydrogen fueling station will support the automaker's operations at the port. The facility will supply all Toyota fuel cell vehicles moving through the port, including new deliveries of the Miura sedan and Toyota's heavy-duty hydrogen fuel cell Class 8 truck known as Project Portal. In most states, you have a conventional natural gas pipeline network that provides heat for your stove or your furnace. The majority of natural gas comes from drilling for well gases, says Matt McClory, senior engineer at Toyota Research and Development. We're trying to green up this process. One way is to find renewable sources, like from gases emitted from landfills, wastewater treatment plants, and farm animals. For this project, Toyota will source renewable methane from agricultural waste, primarily from dairy farm manure in California. So it's going to be running on poo, cattle poo. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. Talk about recycling, right? That is very cool, very advanced. And you know, they talk a lot when you're talking about global warming and heating up the planet. A lot of people believe that the cattle is the worst polluter, right? The gas, the poo. It's pretty scientifically based. You can look it up if you want to. So, you know, if they can do something with that and recycle it, that's absolutely awesome. And obviously that's going to bring more jobs. People working is a good thing, no matter what economy it is. You know, I don't think most people don't want to be on welfare. Most people don't want to be poor. Just like nobody wakes up wanting to be a drug addict, right? That's just not realistic. But when there's not enough work and, you know, whatever. So that is a wonderful thing. That's absolutely positive. So before I wrap up the good news here, I just have a little top 10 list I want to go through with you just quite briefly. You know, quite often we struggle on being positive. We see all this stuff going on in the world and we get so caught up because, you know, that's the way that it is. We get caught up in the negative stuff that's going on or the drama or, you know, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday and she was saying that she works in a nursing home and she just works with these two people that are just always focusing on the problems, always focusing on the negative. And you know as well as I do, when you're around people like that, it makes you tired. It sucks the life right out of you. So, quite often, self-preservation, right? You need to do what you can do in your own time, on your own schedule, to uplift yourself and make yourself feel good. So, top 10 positive thinking exercises and activities that will change your life. And I'll put this on the Positive Power Facebook page. You can check it out yourself, because like I'm not reading the whole thing. But number 1, listen to your favorite music, right? We know music is good for the soul. Number 2, expressing thankfulness. Number 3, remember to breathe. You know, sometimes just stop, breathe. That's all you need to do. Just relax. Deep in, deep out. Number 4, don't live according to a label. Hey, don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Don't try to keep up with anybody. Number 5, check your internal dialogue. How are you talking to yourself, right? Are you your own biggest fan? Because you should be. Number 6, engage in positive activities. Do you like to swim? Do you like to golf? Do you like to, you know what, if you like to play video games, go play some video games. Do what you want to do every once in a while. Number 7, take back control, right? Accept the things that you can't change. It's okay. Number 8, go easy on yourself. We all are, as beings, we are always the hardest on ourselves, right? If you are as nice to yourself as you are to your best friend, imagine how good life would be. Number 9, pay attention to your diet. Food is so important, you know. I can't even, that would be like a whole show with no music, talking about how important your diet is to everything, to your attitude, to your body, to just absolutely everything. And number 10, embrace change. Change is going to happen. And we were talking about that. We are surrounded by change. There's so much going on in the world. So it's time to just stop and embrace it. It is what it is, especially if you can't change it. You know, people get involved in these rallies and all this stuff. Just letting you know, all you're doing is getting your name on a list. Unless you're that one person that is going to make that deciding factor, then you're just quite often caught up in a lot of negativity and a lot of things that maybe you don't want to be caught up in. So there you go. That's your good news for today. All those articles will be posted on the Positive Power page for you to check out at your own convenience. And now we're going to go back to some music before Chuck, the country DJ, takes over and starts his show right shortly. Love it. Absolutely.